Hey everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of my podcast, Eaton It Up. It's special for two reasons. The first reason, if you're seeing this, that's one of the reasons. It is a video episode, so if you happen to be listening to the podcast on the go, jump on over to my Facebook page or my YouTube channel, and you can see this episode. The second reason is because of the guest that I have on today's episode. He's a very, very busy man. If you've seen my posts lately, I've been asking for questions to ask this person. So I hope that you're able to ask your own questions that you had, or maybe questions that your kids have for this person. Again, he's very busy this time of year, so I was very happy to get him in and record an interview with him. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on over to today's episode. Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. If you are listening to it, normally I just have an audio podcast, but today, because obviously you can see if you are watching the podcast, have a very special guest today. If you can't tell who he is Santa Claus. Very excited to have him today. So again, thank you for listening. If you are listening, I would tell you to go ahead and continue listening to the episode, but go on and jump over to the video side on all social media platforms and see him in person. Welcome to the podcast, Santa.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I love visiting in Decatur.
Yes, we are in Decatur, Texas, here on the square. He's very well known in the county. I would say. You said you've already had a couple stops already, and I know you're very, very busy, even up until Christmas Day.
Christmas Day.
Okay. And every year seems like it's
stretches
more and more
out
people.
A little further. Yeah.
I know I help out at the fire department. You'll be there again. I know that I think they're getting more time this year, maybe. I don't know. I know they were talking about that, trying to, but
the ex-fire chief is going to be
okay.
my helper for that. So
okay.
I can't remember his name.
Chief Richardson.
Yeah.
Is going to be assisting. I know that you had a very stacked day last time we had Pancakes with Santa.
Yes.
At our fire station. So what I did was the last few weeks, I've been getting some questions from kids, and it could be parents of kids. I posted on social media and asked parents to get questions either they wanted to ask Santa and never got the chance to, or if they have little ones, to ask them some questions. So I do have some questions written down, and we'll go through these and just have a conversation and see where it takes us. So obviously, I think the biggest question I got, and I think probably the biggest question people wonder, is how do you get everywhere in just one night? How do you do that?
Let me show you.
That's quick. Something I've wondered myself for a long time.
Years and years ago, and I mean centuries ago, one of my elves put this together for me because he saw how tired I was when I got in. I still get tired, but this makes it so much easier. Let's see now. There we go. See this little watch here? I pull the stem out at midnight, and that stops time for me. So I can go all around the world, and it'll still be midnight when I get back to the North Pole. I hit the button and start my time back up. And by then, there's probably been some little ones that have been up wandering around the house and found their toys way before everybody else got up.
Right. Yeah. Well, that is awesome. So even though time stops, you do not stop.
Nope.
You get around the world and drop off all the presents and make sure they're in the right places. And then I guess, again, you get back to North Pole and time starts again. Everybody starts waking up.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. That hopefully the kids appreciate that answer and know that it's not just a bunch of people as one person, but stopping time and starting it back up in the North Pole. Speaking of the North Pole, what is the North Pole like?
It's just like the pictures you see. It's always snowing. We've got a big, big cabin there that we use just for lodging. And then we've got two great big barns that the elves use for making the tools. Okay. Or the toys.
The toys. Yeah. So lots of snow everywhere.
Then there's a barn over there for the reindeer.
Okay. Yeah, the reindeer. That'll get to a question here in a few minutes, but so you have a list. Obviously, the songs say you check it twice. So where do you keep your list? Is it somewhere where somebody could maybe change their status
Where's the list at?
That list is written down, and then I memorize all the list.
Wow.
And so I don't have to take it with me. And that's one of the beautiful things about this is when I get to Johnny's house, I opened up my bag and Johnny's presents appear
right
in the
there.
bag.
Yeah.
So I don't have to worry about getting anything mixed up.
That's good, because that would be bad. Johnny wakes up and there's Susie's toy instead of the toy he asked for.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but we've worked very diligently to keep that 100%.
Right. And have you started checking your list? Is that a year-round thing that has to happen? Or?
Well, this time of the year, I really do that double check.
Mm-hmm.
And I checked yours before I left.
Oh, good. Okay.
You might need a little bit of work.
Okay. Did you talk to my wife before you came in here? Is that no? You just know?
Yeah, I just know.
Well, I'll work on that. So the list can change.
Yeah.
So even after you check it twice,
mm-hmm.
then if the list changes, then the toy could change when you get to Johnny's house.
That's right.
So there's always a chance to get on the good side.
Absolutely.
Before Christmas.
Do everything you can to get on the good side, guys.
Yeah. That's good to know that I still have a chance.
You bet.
To be on the good side. So how do you know where all the kids are? Like, how do you know which, I guess you said it before, but I guess when you just pull up to the house, that kids' toys are there.
The magic that's involved with a nice list is basically the same as with addresses.
Okay.
I pull up and the reindeer guide me.
Okay.
That's that song about the reindeer guiding him through the night.
Mm-hmm.
That's really true. They guide me to each house where the children are. And when I get there, I know who I'm looking for because of what's in the bag.
Yeah. So GPS by reindeer, basically.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Very smart reindeer.
Yes. So here's another question that I've always wondered is, what do you do when you get to a house and there's no chimney?
Great question.
Because
I get that one all the time. I don't have a chimney. What am I going to do?
Yeah. Do they try to make their own, or what do you do?
Let me get this together here for you. Now this, as you can see, is my ring of keys. And there's, I guess, 30 keys on that. So you guys, when I pull up to a house that doesn't have a fireplace for me to go down, I walk up to the front door and hold them out. This goes on my belt, but when I hold them out, the right key glows that opens your door. So don't worry about not having a fireplace. We got that covered.
That's awesome. So there's a lot of Santa magic involved on Christmas Eve. Yeah. That's amazing. How do you make all the toys? Because there's a lot of kids.
There's a lot of kids, and we start usually about in March of starting to get a feel for what the kids are liking and start making that up. The elves are very diligent. The reason we start in March is because January and February, everybody's on vacation at the moment.
That's one of the questions I asked is, what do you do after Christmas is done? Where do you go?
When we get through with Christmas, we all just kind of sit back, put our feet up, and Mrs. Claus brings some of the most fantastic cocoa you've ever had in your life. And we talk a little bit about how the year went with the building of the toys and the storage and the shipping and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And then it's just a little business meeting. And then once we're finished with that, I excuse everybody, give them their Christmas bonuses.
Yep.
Everybody's got to get a bonus.
Mrs. Claus get a bonus?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I would be in trouble if I didn't make sure she got her bonus.
Yes, because she does a lot.
She feeds all the elves and makes sure that they're going right. And
she keeps you in line to make sure you're going right. So she does a lot of the behind the scenes that
I get lots of reminders from her. And not too long ago, I guess it was about 4 or 5 years ago, she got me a phone, one of those smartphone things. So I'm attached to her by text.
She can track you.
She can track me.
She knows where you're at, which is a good thing, Make sure she knows where Santa's at.
Yes.
Yeah. That's awesome. So you take a break,
Mm-hmm.
and then you sit back in March is when you start
Putting it back together and start. While they've been on vacation, I've done a little bit of an analysis and made sure that I have a good feel for what's going to be popular that next year.
Yeah.
Hit it pretty close most times.
Yeah. I remember growing up, you've gotten it pretty close to what I've wanted and
good.
What the popular things are
Mm-hmm.
around. So you've done well with that. What is your favorite kind of cookie? I know you've probably had
Oh my
all
goodness.
kinds.
I go all around the world and everybody leaves me out a little something
Because there's
different.
probably something other than cookies you've gotten, maybe, or different,
Yeah, I'm not real sure what the thing was going on with the family there, but I guess they were pretty close to being vegetarians, and they
Right.
left me broccoli out.
Oh, do you like broccoli?
I love broccoli.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wished I'd had a little sugar to dip it in.
Oh yeah. Do you have a favorite kind of cookie, or do you just kind of?
I get that question an awful lot, and if I'm honest, chocolate chip is the greatest cookie in the world.
Mm-hmm. That's my favorite when it's still warm,
Mm-hmm.
and the chocolate chips are still
Still a little
melted.
soft.
Yeah, with a nice big glass of milk.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, that is. And so you must, exercise some. Because when you think about all the places you go,
Mm-hmm.
and they leave something, and you have to at least take a bite,
Yes.
just so then the kids know you were there. So
Mhm.
that's a lot of calories. Is that another magic thing that?
No, unfortunately, those calories stick pretty good. So I have a workout regime.
Okay,
In
but
the
they help
off-season.
you keep your figure.
Yeah.
Because you have to keep the Santa look, and so the kids
Mhm.
help you
Yeah.
with that. That's good to know. Here's one that I kind of thought of myself, but what is the weirdest request that you've gotten? Because I know you see a lot of kids
Mm-hmm.
between now and Christmas, and I'm sure they get on your lap and they tell you that the biggest desire they have. So is there any strange requests that you've gotten from a kid?
I get a lot of requests for unicorns.
Okay.
And I always stress to them, I said, the little stuffed toys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And no, I want a real
one.
unicorn. Well, it goes back several centuries. I tried to deliver a unicorn one time, and you would not believe the mess he made in that sack. It
I
was
bet.
really messy.
Yeah.
So we decided then we could only deliver stuffed toys,
Nothing alive.
nothing alive.
Yeah.
I leave that to mom and dad's.
Yes. Because then you have to keep, you already have reindeer
Yeah.
that you have to deal with,
Mhm.
but it's, when there's something else.
And those unicorns are not easy to catch.
I've never seen one, so I'm sure, that's probably why.
You have to be real sneaky to find
Yeah. That's amazing. So here's another big question that I got is, do you have a favorite reindeer?
Oh my goodness. I hear that a lot too.
Yeah.
And most people think it's Rudolph. And Rudolph is one of my favorite, but you have to put them all together to do what they do,
Right.
getting me around the world as fast as they do. And so it's like a family.
Yeah.
I love every one of them, each and every one of them. And they know that, and that makes them very happy.
That's good. Do you work on your own sleigh? Do you have a sleigh mechanic?
I have a sleigh mechanic.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll give him suggestions, and sometimes he'll use those suggestions, and sometimes he doesn't.
He doesn't? Yeah. And I'm assuming too with the reindeer that it's the magic that makes them fly, and
They are like a lot of my magic. It only becomes apparent the night before Christmas.
so they're not just on the North Pole flying around all year round. They
No,
stay in their stable and
It comes up the night before Christmas and into Christmas morning. And that's the only time it works. That's like my watch I showed you.
yes.
I can only use it on Christmas Eve and Christmas morning. And the big old glob of keys I've got, they don't work except when I'm going up to a house.
Okay. So that keeps the deer safe.
Keeps everybody safe.
So I'm sure one of them would just, if they could, just have a mind of its own and take off maybe.
Yeah. Rudolph is very persistent in trying to fly on off season.
Oh, yeah. I could see that happening.
I've seen him run into a lot of stuff trying to do that.
That's amazing. Guess one big question that I think a lot of people wonder about. One thing that I've wondered about is, what is the real meaning for Christmas?
Outstanding question. I love that one. One of the things that I like to tell the children, and y'all need to be listening to this, I am not the reason for Christmas. I help bring Christmas cheer and joy, but the real reason for Christmas is it was Jesus' birth. He came into the world to be our Savior, and that is the greatest gift of all that our Father could give us, is having Jesus there to save us and make sure that we have a place with him in heaven.
That's good. And to know that, that the presents give joy and happiness for a time, but to understand what the real reason is, that can be happiness and joy for an eternity.
Yes.
No matter what is going on in your life, no matter what's happening, that Jesus can bring that happiness at any time and for all time. And
the way that I tell it to the kiddos when I'm talking to them is that you remember the story of the shepherds that got called into Bethlehem by the angels to check on the baby Jesus?
Yes.
Well, when they got through there, they were running all over town and knocking on doors and telling people about the baby Jesus. They didn't have cell phones or anything like that to call people.
Yeah.
They were running around knocking on doors and telling everybody about Jesus. So what I encourage people to do, kiddos and adults alike, is to always be ready to share Jesus with someone.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get a hit and sometimes you don't. Don't get discouraged.
It's because it's the same aspect when the kiddos open their presents, they want to tell their friends, hey, this is what I got.
Yeah.
So the same thing with Jesus is, hey, I know Jesus and I want you to know him.
That's right.
And telling people. Now, there are a couple of dates coming up that you're going to be actually on the square.
Yes.
Here in Decatur. I know the first one I think is the 30th of this month. We do the big Christmas tree lighting.
Yep.
I know you're going to be there taking pictures and being at the lighting for the kids, have a Santa Village. And then you just did an ad spot for it before here, but you're going to be at the Christmas parade. Yes,
the Christmas parade is the big deal. I've been a part of that parade for several years, and it just grows and grows and grows. And
it's going to be a big one this year. We weren't able to have it last year, which we didn't even get into that, how Santa got through the pandemic, but I'm assuming you did fine.
We did fine. Which,
of course, everybody's asleep, so there wasn't any problems with...
No, And, when I visited people, I made sure that I was masked up before I came into the house.
Yeah.
And, but try to follow all those rules.
Right. So it'll be on the square December 4th. It'll be on the big fire truck at the end, and you'll be there before that. And I think you mentioned before that you're coming up just to walk the square.
I'll be here on the Thursday after the parade for 2 hours, starting at 6:00 and going to 8:00.
Okay.
So if you want to come down, bring the kids down, we can take pictures on the square and just have a whole lot of fun.
So is that the 9th? I was trying to do math really quick in my head.
I believe so. I've done this for so many years. I just know it's the Thursday following the.
Okay. I think it's the 9th, but that's the Thursday after the 4th, after the parade. So we'll be here starting at 6.
Yep.
Just walk around the square. And you said that, again, every year it just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Yep.
And you can barely even make a lap anymore. But thank you, Santa, for coming on. Is there anything else that you want to tell the kids or the adults that are listening?
This is for the kids. Now, you heard me talk about the naughty nice list. Just concentrate on doing good, and you won't have anything to worry about. Okay? Then what I tell children to also is that when I tell you you're on the good list, make sure you're doing all your chores, picking up after yourself, and doing whatever else you've got around the house that you can help mom and dad with. Make sure you're doing all those all through the year, because we love it when everybody behaved and gets their Christmas morning surprise. And
I have heard of you going around town, not in your whole suit, and you are watching the kids. And do you still have? I remember I've seen one of your cards.
Yes,
that you pass out to kids.
Yeah, I've got a little card that when I spot kids doing good, I'll hand it off to them. It's got my picture on it, and it's got "I got caught being good."
Yeah,
and on the back side of it, it's got a little Christmas poem, and right down there at the bottom, it says, "Jesus is the reason."
That's good. And I think also at the Christmas the lighting of the tree, there will be a mailbox that kids are going to be able to write a letter to you, and you put it in the mailbox, and then whoever's in charge of that will get all those letters to you and make sure that you read those and to make sure that the kids know that they got to you.
Absolutely.
So, again, thank you so much for coming on. I know you're busy.
Yep.
And lots of dates coming up, and just make sure you see him again November 30th. He'll be on the square December 4th, and the Thursday after that, he'll be here for pictures and just to talk to the kids.
Thank you, Michael, for having me on.
Thank you. Thanks for watching and listening, guys. You guys have a good day.